Today I'm taking a look at the VEVOR body camera. So there's the camera. It looks like it has a couple of LEDs there on the front. We have picture and video on the top, and it does look like we have a display on the back. So that way, if you need to look at the footage that you got, you're not going to have to take it and plug it into a computer to see that. You can view it right here on the device. Looks like we got a spot for a clip, got our navigation buttons on the bottom, and we got some more on the right. On the left side, we got a covered port, so we can plug that directly into a computer right there. And it looks like we got a reset button on the inside. It appears we got some contacts on the bottom for charging. So we got our instructions. We got our clip, so that will just slide in from the top. We have a much larger clip, which is interesting. So you could actually put this thing on like a baseball cap or something like that. It has nice thick teeth on there as well. We got our dock, has a USB connection on the back, and we got our charging port. We got our charging cables, USB-A to mini USB. So that is just going to plug into the back. And we also got a power supply. And it says that's good for water at 240 volts, so it's good for international or domestic. It outputs 1 amp at 5 volts. So we can use that to charge. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Okay, and we are on. So if we want to take a picture, and if we want to record video, we can see we are recording there. It's kind of covered up by the clip, but we can see the timeline, so we know that is recording. It does have date and time, and we can see it has 115 gigabytes of internal storage. It's interesting. It actually has a what feels like kind of like when your phone vibrates, it has one of those little actuators inside of it. So on the right, let's hit light. Oh, that's interesting. So if you look on the front, it looks like these are infrared lights. So you can kind of see they turn red. Maybe you can't really see it on the camera, but to the eye, you can just barely see the red lights. So this is going to be good for recording at night. And then we have a microphone. Okay, cool. So this is going to allow us to record just audio. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. So we got menu. So at the top we got a resolution, and it looks like right now we're at 1440 by 30. We can also do 1800 by 30 or 2160 by 15. Now if you want to save space, or if we just want a much higher frame rate, we can go to 1080 at 60 frames a second. I'm going to keep it at 1440 by 30. Photo size, we got 48 megapixels, and we can take that all the way down to 20. Oh, actually all the way down to 8 megapixels if we want to. Photo burst mode. So if we want to take a bunch of pictures quickly, we can do that. So that way, if we're trying to capture a very specific moment in time, we can just take 20 pictures in burst and then pick out whichever photo that we want to use. Pre-record, so we can actually have this thing recording all the time. And so that way, if something happens, we can start recording, but it will actually record what was happening before we hit the button. Post-record, so that way if we want to record some time after we hit the stop recording button, we can do that. Exposure, so if we need this to be brighter or darker, we can adjust that. Loop recording, so essentially after it uses all of the internal storage, we can have that just repeat, so it'll start back over at the beginning. Video length, 5 minutes, so this is just going to cut it up into 5-minute chunks. Motion detection, on or off, so that's actually pretty cool. So we can have this thing set up to automatically start recording when it sees something happening. LCD auto off, so this will turn off in 1 minute, so you can save power. Auto power off in 5 minutes, so if you got it on but it's not doing anything, it'll just shut itself off. Keytones, so we can have this off. I'll do that. There we go. So now we no longer hear it when I'm hitting the button. But it does still make that vibration, so we know we actually did something, so that's nice. Video sound on, so we know that we're recording audio. Device volume middle, dash camera mode, turn that on or off. Device ID, officer ID, if you want to have that information embedded onto the video. Password, change password, IR filter. Voice broadcast. Language, default settings, so we can restore it to factory. Adjust the date and time, and we can turn the vibration off or on. I like having the vibration, so I'm going to use that. Hidden mode. Interesting. Okay, so now it is not doing any vibration or anything. Cool. We can turn the GPS on or off, and we got the firmware version. Okay, so right now I have it clipped onto my shirt pocket, so there is going to be some movement to my body, probably quite a bit. And this will be a good way to see if there's any kind of motion stabilization. There probably is not, but there might be some mitigation to that. There's also probably going to be pointed out to the left a little bit, and possibly up, that is just due to the shape of my body. And you can probably hear me talking right now. That'll give you an idea of what the audio quality is going to be on one of these things, especially coming directly from the person that's wearing it. And now I'm walking into a fairly noisy room, so if you're going to be able to continue listening to me, then that's going to be another testament to the quality of the audio. It's also fairly dark in this room, and I do not have the IR filter on, so you may or may not be able to really see anything worth a darn. Take a step outside. It is fairly dark out here. I do not have the IR filter on. Most cameras cannot pick up anything out here. I'm going to turn on the flashlight. So there we go. That is with the flashlight. I'm going to turn the flashlight off. And I'm going to turn on IR. So to the naked eye, you definitely can't see red lights on the front of the camera. I do not know if this actually increases your ability to see, but this is with just the camera and the IR lights on. This is with that plus the flashlight. So that'll give you an idea of what you can expect in a dark environment. So now I'm going to pull it off of my pocket, and this is handheld mode. It is very nice having a display on the back so I can actually see what I'm looking at. Seems to be having a little trouble dealing with a bright backlight, but if we put it up close, we can still see what is on that display. So yeah, overall, that is a very nice little camera.